All right, let's dive into this fascinating world of public speaking.
Okay.
We're taking a deep dive today
All right.
into a chapter
Yeah?
called Efficiency Through Inflection.
I like it.
Have you ever felt like
Oh, yeah.
your words when you're speaking
Uh,
don't quite have the impact you want them to have?
Definitely.
Or maybe you've been captivated by a
Yeah.
speaker who can make even something really boring,
Absolutely.
like the phone book, sound riveting.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's what we're talking about today.
Like,
How to harness the power of your voice
right.
to become a more compelling and
Yeah.
persuasive communicator.
Powerful stuff.
This chapter we're looking at looks like it's from a public speaking manual,
All right.
and it talks about all sorts of interesting terms
Wow.
like cadence,
You're right.
modulation,
Yeah.
inflection, and
Wow.
emphasis.
Gotcha.
Can we quickly break down what those actually mean?
Absolutely.
Just so we're all on the same page before we get too far into the weeds.
Yeah, so think of it like this.
Okay.
Cadence is the rhythm
Okay.
of your speech.
Uh-huh.
It's how you use
Okay.
pauses
Right.
and pacing
Okay.
to create a flow that keeps your audience engaged.
So like the beat of the music?
Kind of, yeah, like a beat.
Okay.
Then you have modulation,
Oh.
which is the broader art of varying your pitch, pace,
Ah.
and volume
Okay.
to add interest and highlight key points.
So that's like making the song more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Then just a flat monotone. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Then we zoom in on inflection,
Okay.
which is all about
All right.
those subtle shifts in pitch
Uh-huh.
within a word or phrase
Okay.
that can add layers of meaning
Right.
and emotion.
Right. Like getting a little flair.
Yeah, like a little
Around-
flourish, yeah.
Oh.
And finally, there's
Mhm.
emphasis,
Right.
which is like using bold text
Uh-huh.
in your speech.
Okay.
It's about making certain words stand out
Gotcha.
to drive home your point.
So it's like hitting those
Power notes.
power notes.
Exactly.
So we've got cadence is the beat. Modulation is like the whole song.
Wow.
Inflection is adding those
That's right.
vocal riffs and flourishes.
Yeah, yeah.
And emphasis is like hitting those.
Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect analogy. Now, the chapter really dives deep into
Okay.
inflection
Yeah.
as the secret weapon of
Ah.
powerful speaking.
Mm.
You see, words are just the building blocks.
Right?
Inflection is what truly brings them to life.
Okay.
The chapter quotes
Okay.
Herbert Spencer,
Mhm.
who said cadence,
Okay.
and this is a long one,
Yeah.
is the running commentary
Okay.
of the emotions upon the propositions of the intellect.
Wow. That's a mouthful.
It is, yeah.
What's he really saying there?
He's saying
Yeah.
that how we say something
Okay.
often reveals even more
Uh-huh.
than the words themselves.
Interesting.
It's about going beyond
Yeah.
the dictionary definition
Yeah.
and letting your voice convey
Right.
the true meaning
Uh-huh.
and emotion
Okay.
behind your message.
Okay. So like how many ways can you say
That-
the word really?
Oh, so many.
Each inflection tells a completely different story.
Story.
So like really
Right.
with a questioning tone.
Exactly.
Versus really
Yeah, yeah.
with excitement.
Uh-huh.
Same word.
Same word.
Totally different vibe.
Completely different meaning.
Right, right.
The chapter
Yeah.
compares words to bricks
Okay.
and inflection
Yeah.
to the architectural plan.
All right. I like this analogy.
Yeah, so you can use the same bricks to build a simple wall
Uh-huh.
or a breathtaking cathedral.
Yeah.
And it's the plan
Okay.
that determines the outcome. Inflection is that plan for our words.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not just
It's not just about the words,
about the words. It's about how we
how you use them.
assemble them with our voice to
Yeah,
create something impactful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to illustrate this point,
Okay.
the chapter talks about
All right.
the famous actress,
Okay.
Mrs. Siddons,
Mm-hmm.
and how she used
Yeah.
3 different inflections
Okay.
on the line. We fail from Macbeth
All right.
to convey 3 completely different meanings.
So tell me about these 3. We fail.
First,
Okay.
she delivered it as a quick, dismissive question.
Okay.
We fail,
Right.
as if the very idea was absurd.
Okay.
Then she changed it
Mhm.
to an indignant outburst. We fail,
Okay.
expressing shock and anger.
Right. Right.
And finally,
Okay.
she settled on a low, resolute tone.
Okay.
We fail, suggesting acceptance of defeat,
All right.
but with the glimmer of determination.
Just hearing you describe it, I can feel that shift in emotion.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how much weight inflection can carry.
It's really powerful stuff.
It really is.
And that's why mastering inflection
Yeah.
is so crucial for anyone who wants to be.
Okay. I'm convinced Inflection is key.
Yeah.
But where do we even begin?
Yeah, good question.
Are there like rules for how to do it right?
Well, the chapter starts
Okay.
with the basics.
Right?
Rising and falling inflections.
Okay.
A rising inflection
Uh-huh.
usually conveys uncertainty
Okay.
or a question.
Right.
Think about how your voice goes up
Yeah, yeah.
at the end of a question.
Okay.
A falling inflection, on the other hand,
Eh.
typically expresses certainty or a statement of fact.
So rising is like, wait, are you serious? And falling is like, mic drop, case
You
closed.
got it.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Ooh, tell me more.
The chapter emphasizes that these...
Okay, here are just the building blocks.
So there's more.
Oh, there's so much more.
Okay, tell me everything.
Well, for example, the chapter mentions a visual diagram
Okay.
that shows all these intricate variations
Interesting?
in inflection,
Okay.
like a whole secret language of the voice.
Okay.
And it stresses
Yeah.
that mastering inflection
Mm-hmm.
isn't just about
Okay.
big sweeping changes
No.
across a whole sentence,
Yeah.
but about subtle shading.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking about up or down
No.
at the end of a sentence. We're talking about
It's much more nuanced.
tiny shifts within a word.
Absolutely.
That sounds...
It is seriously complex.
It is complex.
Okay.
But that's why it's so powerful.
So how do we...
Think of it like painting.
Yeah.
You can create an image with just black and white,
Uh-huh.
but adding shades of gray
Right.
brings depth and detail.
Okay.
Inflection is like adding
Gosh.
those shades of gray to your speech.
I'm starting to see how this all fits together.
Sure.
So it's not just about the
That's the big picture.
big picture. It's about those tiny details
Absolutely. It's the details.
that make a huge difference.
Exactly.
Can you give me a real world example of
Yeah.
how these subtle inflections play out?
Absolutely. Remember that phrase?
Okay.
Oh, he's all right.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about earlier.
The one that can be
Yeah, the one that can be.
a compliment or a diss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the chapter uses that phrase
Uh-huh.
to illustrate how subtle inflections
Okay.
can create wildly different interpretations.
Gotcha.
You could say it with a dismissive tone,
Okay.
implying fate praise.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he's all right.
Right.
Or you could add a touch of doubt
Okay.
with a rising inflection on right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's all right.
Right.
Or you could go the opposite way
Okay.
and deliver it
Yeah.
with genuine enthusiasm
Uh-huh.
using a strong falling inflection on a right.
Okay.
Oh, he's all right.
Wow, you're totally right.
Right.
Each version
Each version
paints a completely different picture.
totally different.
How the speaker feels about this he's person.
It's subtle, but it's powerful.
It's like acting with your voice.
It is a form of acting, yeah.
Yeah, it's about using your voice as an instrument
Yeah.
to convey those subtle layers of meaning
Right.
that words alone can't capture.
Exactly.
This is fascinating.
It is, isn't it?
So is
Yeah.
the key to mastering inflection?
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
That's definitely part of it.
Okay.
The chapter encourages readers to experiment with phrases like, oh no, or
Okay.
indeed,
Mm-hmm.
and see how many different shades of meaning they can create
Okay.
with inflection alone.
So just playing around with it.
Yeah, just playing with it.
Okay.
But there's also a strategic element to it.
Okay.
Understanding how different types of inflection can be
Right.
used
Okay.
to emphasize specific points
Hmm.
or evoke particular emotions
Got it.
in your audience.
This is starting to feel like a superpower
It is powerful.
in the making.
It is, yeah.
All right, so let's talk strategy.
Okay.
When would I want to use
Yeah.
a long,
Mm-hmm.
drawn-out falling inflection?
Okay, great question.
What kind of impact does that create?
Well, a long falling inflection is like shining a spotlight
Mhm.
on a word.
Okay.
It draws attention,
Right.
adds weight to it,
Sure.
making it land with more impact.
Gotcha.
The chapter even gives examples, like the words
Every
every eleemosynary and destroy.
Okay.
Try saying those
Okay.
with a long falling inflection.
Okay.
And notice how it emphasizes.
Ovary.
Yeah.
Eleemosynary.
Exactly.
Destroy.
Wow, you're right.
Yeah.
It's like each word suddenly has
What
more
the hell?
gravity.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I'm commanding attention with
totally.
just my voice.
That's the power.
That's pretty cool.
And the chapter takes this concept
Okay.
even further
All right.
by analyzing excerpts
Uh-huh.
from speeches
Okay.
by Daniel Webster
Hmm.
and Henry Ward Beecher,
Okay.
two legendary orators
Right.
it points out
Yeah.
specific words
Yeah.
in their speeches
Mhm.
where those long falling inflections would create even more power. So we can learn from them
Certainly so much.
by studying how they use their voices.
Yes, exactly.
That's incredible.
It is.
I never thought about it that way.
Analyzing great speeches
Yeah.
is like getting a masterclass
Right.
in vocal delivery.
Pay attention to how they use
That's right.
pauses,
Yeah,
rhythm, and of
right.
course inflection
Of course.
to build drama and drive their points home.
Exactly.
So we've covered rising and falling inflections,
Yeah.
subtle shading within words.
That's right.
And those powerful, long, falling inflections for emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else
Let me think.
we need to keep in mind?
One last point the chapter stresses
Okay.
is that
Yeah.
while inflection is a powerful tool, it's important not to overdo it.
Right.
Too much modulation
Okay.
can actually backfire.
How so?
Well, it can make you sound insincere
Right.
or even a bit melodramatic.
Like you're trying too hard.
Exactly. The chapter compares it to someone trying too hard to be something now. They're not like a mature person trying to act youthful.
Right. A little authenticity goes a long way.
Absolutely.
It's like wearing too much cologne.
Yes, good analogy.
A subtle hint is alluring,
Uh-huh.
but dousing yourself in it
You betch.
is just overwhelming.
Exactly.
So how do we know if we're overdoing it?
It takes self-awareness.
Okay.
Record yourself speaking,
All right.
and then listen back critically.
All right. Yeah.
How does your inflection sound?
Right.
Does it feel natural and authentic?
Uh-huh.
Or does it sound forced
Or
or exaggerated?
So like,
You can also ask for feedback
yeah.
from trusted friends or colleagues.
Okay.
They can often pick up on things
Yeah.
we might not notice ourselves.
That's a good idea.
It is.
I like that.
So getting that outside perspective
Yeah.
can be really helpful.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to start
Okay.
recording myself more often
fine.
and paying closer attention
That's great.
to my inflection. I'm starting to see how mastering this skill can
It's a powerful skill.
get my communication to a whole new level.
I agree.
But I have to admit,
What's that?
I'm a little curious
Okay.
about that visual diagram
Oh, yeah.
the chapter mentioned
Yeah.
earlier. Can you tell me a bit more?
Yeah, so remember we talked about
Okay.
how rising and falling inflections
Yeah.
are just the starting point?
Right.
Well, this diagram
Okay.
visually
Mhm.
represents the vast spectrum
Uh-huh.
of inflection possibilities
Aye.
between those two extremes.
Interesting.
It shows all these different curves and lines,
Okay.
each representing a subtle variation
Okay.
in pitch and tone.
So it's like a
It's almost like a musical notation system for your voice,
Yeah.
showing you how to create those
Well,
nuanced shifts.
so it's like a secret code
It's like a secret code, yeah.
for unlocking
Yeah.
the full potential of our voices.
Uh-huh.
That's so cool.
It is pretty cool.
I wish we could actually see this diagram.
You know what? That's a great idea.
Yeah.
There are actually
Yeah.
a lot of resources available online
Oh, perfect.
that visually represent
Okay.
different inflection patterns.
Maybe we can include a link
Yes, we should do that.
in the show notes for
Yeah.
anyone who's interested
Yeah.
in exploring this further.
I like it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Going back to the chapter for a moment,
Uh-huh.
I'm curious
What about it?
about the Mississippians
Oh,
example.
yeah. Uh-huh.
It sounds like a fascinating illustration
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
how inflection can completely change the meaning of a phrase.
It's powerful.
But I wonder if there are
What's that?
any more modern examples
Oh, absolutely.
we to look at.
In
Yeah,
fact, the
that's-
chapter touches on this briefly,
Okay.
mentioning how
Mhm.
even something as simple as saying goodbye
Right.
can convey completely different meanings
Okay.
depending on the inflection,
That's so true.
isn't it?
Like, see you later
Uh-huh.
can sound enthusiastic
Right.
or dismissive,
Okay.
depending on how you say it.
It's like
Yeah.
a whole subtext
Yeah.
is communicated through the tone.
Right, right.
And if you want to see this in action
Okay.
on a larger scale,
Yeah.
think about political speeches
Mm.
or even stand-up comedy routines.
Right.
They rely heavily on inflection
Okay.
to land jokes,
Yeah.
emphasize points,
Mm-hmm.
and connect with the audience.
Mhm.
So it's everywhere.
I'm suddenly noticing inflection everywhere.
Right. I'm like,
Or you've
opened your ears to a new world that I never paid attention to
That's the beauty of it.
before.
Yeah. Once you become aware
Yeah.
of inflection, you
Uh-huh.
start to see how it shapes everything.
Right.
From casual conversations
Okay.
to powerful speeches.
I have a feeling I'll never listen to this speech.
Right?
I know, right?
It changes everything.
So to sum up
Okay.
what we've learned so far, inflection is like
Yeah.
the spice rack
Ooh, I like this.
of public speaking.
Okay.
We've got our basic seasonings like rising and falling inflections, but then we can get really creative and add all sorts of subtle flavors to make our message truly unforgettable.
I love that analogy.
It's like with spices, the key is to use them wisely and with intention to create a balanced and delicious outcome.
Speaking of delicious outcomes, this conversation has been incredibly insightful.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I feel like I've learned so much about how to use my voice so effectively.
It is amazing how much power we have at our fingertips just by understanding the nuances of our own voices.
So to recap, we've learned that inflection is the secret ingredient to dynamic speaking.
It's so true.
It's not just about the words.
Not just the words.
Which we choose, but about how we deliver them with confidence, nuance, and intention.
That's it.
Exactly.
And we explored how rising inflection often signals doubt or uncertainty, while falling inflection conveys confidence. We even delved into how subtle shading within words can add layers of meaning and emotion.
And who could forget those long, dramatic falling inflections? Talk about
making a statement.
Commanding attention.
Exactly. And we learned that even though inflection is powerful, we need to avoid going overboard. Too much can sound forced and insincere.
I like that analogy of the mature person trying.
The mature person trying too hard.
Too hard to be youthful.
Exactly.
Little goes a long way.
Little goes a long way.
This has been a truly deep dive.
It has been, hasn't it?
I feel like I've unlocked a whole new level of understanding about the art of communication.
It's fascinating stuff.
It really is.
And the best part is, this is just the beginning.
Oh.
There's so much more to explore and experiment with when it comes to using our voices effectively.
Cool. So any final thoughts for our listener before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to explore the power of their own voice is to simply pay attention. Listen to the world around you, to conversations, speeches, even movies. You'll be amazed at how much inflection shapes our understanding and emotional responses.
It's like becoming a detective of human communication, noticing those subtle cues that reveal so much about what people really mean.
It's fascinating. And the more you listen, the more attuned you'll become to the nuances of your own voice. And how you can use it to connect with others on a deeper level. So start listening. Start paying attention.
I like it.
And next time you're giving a presentation or even just chatting with a friend, remember, it's not just what you say, but how you say it.
It's all about the delivery.
The delivery is everything.
To go out there, experiment with your voice.
Have fun with it.
Have fun with it and discover the incredible power that lies within those subtle shifts.
Amazing. Absolutely. Until next time, happy inflecting.
I like that.
Yeah, I think a good one is, you know when you're saying goodbye to someone?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you say, see ya later. You know, you could mean that. Genuinely. Like, see ya later. I'm looking forward to it. Or it could be like, see ya later. Like, I'm not really that bothered.
It's just a brush off.
Just a brush off. Exactly.
Okay.
So much can be conveyed.
Wow. It's fascinating how much is below the surface.
A slight change in inflection.
In terms of how we speak.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things that once you become aware of it, you can't unhear it. You start to hear it.
Everywhere. Yeah. I'm listening to people completely differently now.
Exactly. And, you know, you start to notice those actors who are really good at using their voice.
And some who aren't so good.
And some who maybe haven't quite mastered it yet. Yeah.
Well, this has been, I think, a masterclass.
Oh, thank you.
For me personally.
I'm glad.
In how to use inflection more effectively.
I'm glad it's been helpful.
I feel like I have so many things to practice now.
Yeah, go out there and practice. And
just pay attention to how other people are using their voices.
To
become a more effective communicator.
I think that's great advice.
I hope that's helpful.
For our listeners.
Absolutely.
All right. Until next time.
Okay. See you later.